it's Tina and I am back, and I am here with another get ready with me video. This time, instead of doing a voiceover and just speeding through the tutorial, I'm gonna actually talk you through the makeup application as I'm applying it on my skin, and just talk you through the different products that I'm using and the different techniques and what I'm doing with the brushes and all that good stuff. So if you want to see this very sexy smoky look, incorporating the Makeup Forever Volume 3 Florals palette. Yeah, it's not just for spring, guys. You can use this for a smoky, sexy, seductive look. Then stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon. Hey guys! So we're gonna try to make this a talk through tutorial, a chit chat get ready with me, since I haven't filmed one of those in a while. So let's jump right into it. As usual, I'm starting off with a bare face, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my brows, which is my first thing I like to do. I'm just applying some primer around my brows. A couple of people have been asking me, or I think it's the same person that has been asking me, what primer I use for my brows. It's from a brand that I do not support and won't promote on my channel. So any primer that dries clear and is a matte finish will work for you. This one happens to be a waterproof kind of primer. The NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, let me grab it. This one here, the Pro Prime Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, will work. I've used this a lot of times. This works really well. The Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion or the original also work well as the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. So those three, was that 3 or 4, will work either way, just as long as it dries matte and to a clear finish or a transparent finish, it will work. I'm just gonna brush that through. And since I think I want to do a smoky look with this palette. I know it's kind of anti-spring, but I'm gonna try to do a smoky look with it. So I can go a little bit darker, so I'm using my Brow Wiz pencil in the shade dark brown or brunette. I think it's dark brown now. Now, I've been using my Urban Decay Brow Beater pencil in neutral brown, and I've been preferring that over the Brow Wiz for my everyday brows because it's a very natural color on my brows and it just looks better overall. And it's not that the Brow Wiz is a bad pencil. I love Brow Wiz. It's just that the shade is off, and I've tried soft brown, I've tried medium brown, and I've tried chocolate, and the shades just never seem to get it right, or as right as the Brow Beater from Urban Decay. So I've just stuck with that pencil. Since, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Even though I love Brow Wiz and it does contain more product for the same price or around the same price as the Urban Decay Brow Beater, I would like to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, but I'm okay with using the Urban Decay one for now. I'm very happy with it, and I have backup, so I'm not worried about running out of it soon. If you want to see a complete brow tutorial where I walk you through the grooming process and how I actually fill in my brows and talk you through step by step what I'm doing, I'll link that down below in the description box. It's always linked. I always link that brow tutorial. And I just feather the product through using a Paula eye definer brush, which is just a flat top brush. You can find this on the Paula website. Paula used to be available in ULTA, which is where I purchased my brushes. So you can understand that it's been years since I have been using this brush, and it's still, you know, holding up strong. Nothing has fallen apart. So I can highly recommend this brush. I mean, years of use and it's still together. It hasn't fallen apart, and I wash it every week. I'm just going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer Powder Duo. This is in the shade Ebony, and I use the lighter side on the brush and just feather some of that through some of the sparse areas in my brows, just to soften the pencil a little bit and also fill in some of the gaps that the pencil didn't fill in. Because using too much of the pencil on me, I think it just looks too harsh, so I really use the pencil for the outline, and then I'll use the powder to fill in some gaps in the hairs, and I'll just buff the pencil through as well, so I get a more natural looking brow, or as natural as these can look. It's naturally defined. And now I'm gonna grab my primer, my eyeshadow primer. This is the Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Primer. And you can use this as well. I just find this is more of a silicone based primer, so this is not the best one for the brows, but you can use it as well if it's all that you have. Just using any primer that dries to a transparent finish and a matte finish will work. I just find that this one and the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour eyeshadow primers are a little bit, you know what? No, they're fine. You can use them too. But the other ones give a tackier base, which is what you want for the brow products to really sit well on your brows. Now let's zoom you in a little bit. Hello there. Welcome to my face. Who says that? Coffee break with Danny. I love when she says that. I watch her videos even when I'm not interested in the topic. She's one of those people that I watch. Her and CHATTY and Makeup by Tiffany D. I'm going in with this Eye Duty Triple Remedy. This is from First Aid Beauty. And it says it instantly brighten, depuff, and smooth. So this is the shade Medium Deep. So it has a little tint to it. They have different shades. I think that's, yeah, this one is Medium Deep. They have different shades to it. So I got the Medium Deep obs because, you know, my life. You're supposed to use the little metal back in here to pat it out, but obviously it's not gonna really blend anything out, so I just use my fingers. And I'm just testing this out. I don't have any thoughts on it right now. I don't really know how it works as far as depuffing, but we're gonna just see what it does right now. I'm feeling if it feels a little tingly. I'm like, how do you feel? It feels like it's tightening a little bit, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and grab a old favorite. This is my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Caramel. And I'm just gonna pop that beneath my brows just to clean up the shape as well as act as a highlight. And if your brows are in need of a little bit of cleanup, like you need to go get them waxed or whatever you do to clean them up, you can use concealer under your brows to camouflage those very fine hairs. I personally tweeze my brows, and sometimes I'll have very, very fine hairs that are hard to tweeze and hard to get to. So I typically use the concealer as a highlight and also as a concealer to camouflage those little hairs that don't want to let me be great. Since I don't wax, I can't grab those very, very fine hairs sometimes, like the peach fuzz kind of hairs. And so the concealer just cleans it up, makes it look nice and smooth, like they're freshly waxed and freshly groomed. So that's what that is. And I use a concealer that I would use under my eyes that's not too far off from my skin tone because I don't want it to look too stark and crazy. And then I just buff out the edge of the concealer using my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. I hope they start selling these individually soon. These are only available in the basic starter kit, and I wish they would just sell these as single brushes so people wouldn't have to buy the full set just to get this brush. I mean, the other brushes are fine in the set, but I don't use them, and so they're kind of throwaway brushes for me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add my blend-in shade to my crease. This is just gonna set some of that concealer and also give us a nice blend-in transition area for us to add shadows in the crease. So when you start blending your colors, it's a little bit easier. So what I do is go in with a skin tone shade or a similar shade to the palette that I'm using. So if I'm using a purpley palette, I might go in with a purpley toned nude shade just to buff in the crease, and that's going to help with the blending, like I said. And the shade I'm going in with is Custard from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is one of her new shades. And it's just a caramelly satin matte shade. It's not really a complete ultra matte like her other ultra mattes. It's more of a satin, but it doesn't come off shimmery at all. But I want to just lay down a lighter shade than my Makeup Forever Cookie. That one can deepen up a little bit, so I'm just using this shade here, 1, to test it out, and 2, because it is a lighter nude shade. And I'm just using a Real Techniques number 203 brush. This is from the Bold Metals collection. This is one of the newer shapes or the newer types of brushes from that lineup. They added some eye brushes. So just buffing that in the crease area. Simple. And now I'm just grabbing my Makeup Forever Artist Palette. This is the volume 3 Florals, which is new for spring. And I'm gonna go in with this deep dark shade here, this dark purple, which is ME 930. I'm just picking up that shade on a Real Techniques number 200, again, eyeshadow brush from the Bold Metals collection. And I'm just gonna buff that on the lid area, just pressing it in and then swiping it over. As you can see, this shade is very pigmented. I was gonna use it damp because I was like, well, what if there's fallout? What if it doesn't pick up like you want it to? And then I'm like, you know it picks up. You know, it's Makeup Forever. And using a nice, thick, dense, synthetic brush definitely helps. I know people are asking about applying these eyeshadows. Just use a synthetic brush. The Real Techniques brushes are great. The Kat Von D eyeshadow brush that she has, that's a great one too. The Rite Aid synthetic brushes, the It Cosmetics synthetic brushes, they work really well. As you can see, I just applied that, no tricks. I didn't use a sticky base. I just applied that shadow directly onto my lid with using the brush. And I wiped off the brush, and then I'm going around the edges of my eyeshadow. People also ask what I wipe my brushes off on. I literally have a washcloth or a towel, like a bath towel, that sits on my desk. The washcloth sits on my desk and the towel sits on my chair, like beneath me, like I'm sitting on the towel, and I just use the edges and wipe off the edge of the excess product off my brush. And I just always keep that handy, and I rotate because I have a few, and I just throw them in the wash when they get really dusty. And I'm just blending out the edges of the color. And I'm going to go back in with that brush that we had the blending shade on, and I'm going around the edges some more just to further blend out that color. And we're done. No, I'm kidding. I mean, we could be done because it's just going to be a simple smoky look. I'm not doing anything too crazy with this. But I'm going to go back in. We blended out the edges, so now I'm just going to pack on a little bit more of the color directly on the lid itself, just to darken it up where we may have blended away some of that color. And then clean off the brush again. I'm literally wiping it on the towel. And then just buff a little bit at the edges so we don't have any harsh lines popping through, especially with a smoky eye. I hate when I end up with harsh lines, and it will look really blended, but then as I open it, it looks like it has harsh lines. So what I'll do is grab the blending brush itself with a little bit of the color and then buff that in the crease, and that will, and you touch very lightly and just blend it upwards. So it pulls the color up, and you're blending as you go ahead and move upwards in very light circle, back and forth windshield wiper motion. So I'm moving up, I'm touching the brush very lightly on my skin and just moving the color up further. Now I'm grabbing a completely clean blending brush. This is the Cosette number 4 brush, and I'm just gonna go around the edges of the color. So there's no product on this brush at all, and it's always good to keep a clean blending brush handy, especially when you're doing dark smoky looks, because you want something clean to buff out the edges without adding any more color and really muddying the look. So I'm just using that clean brush just to go around the sides, not the sides, the edges of the color. Again, just windshield wiper motions, just going back and forth until we fade that color out as much as we want. And you can just keep blending and going if you want to. And I think that's good for now. When we pull back, you'll see that it's not that intense. Like, I know it looks intense right now, like I got punched in the eye, but we're gonna make it work. Don't worry about it. We're gonna make this happen. Now let's go back to the palette, and I'm gonna grab this purple shade here, which is the I-918. It's that very light shimmery lavender shade, and I'm just gonna grab that on a Sony Kashuk large crease brush, and I'm just gonna pop that on the inner tear duct area. And again, dense brushes with these eyeshadows work really well. I've never had an issue with these eyeshadows showing up, and some people say they have issues, and I'm like, I don't know why, because I have no issues at all. Like, Makeup Forever eyeshadows are my ultimate favorite eyeshadow formula. They are the best formula, just hands down. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is pull back and work on the face a little bit. And I think I got a little schmutz on my face, so I'm just going to wipe my nose off. I think from my fingers in the eyeshadow. Got a little bit of the dark color on my nose. Wipe that off. I gotta take this headband off. It's driving my head crazy. It's giving me a headache. Oh, now you can see all my frizzies. So, let's do some primer. For my primer, I'm going to use the Estee Edit. This is the Pore Vanishing Stick. Again, it's the Estee Edit collection from Estee Lauder. So it's the more, I think the daughter brand of Estee Lauder. And I'm just going to pop that in my T-zone area. Well, it's really on my cheeks where I get large pores there, on my nose and in my forehead area. And along my smile lines, just to prime that and prep that area. And I'm just going to use my fingers just to warm the product up and blend it out a bit. For my foundation, I'm going to use one from Milani, so it's drugstore and affordable. It's the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation Plus Concealer. So it's medium to full coverage, it's lightweight, oil-free, long-wearing, water-resistant, and sweat-proof. Now, in my recent haul, I got the shade Tan 09. It was just way too light. I mean, it looks like it would be a good match, but I'll show you on my skin that it comes off just a bit too light. So someone suggested that I ordered online from the Milani website and get the shade 11 Amber. And so thank you for that suggestion. I did go ahead and pick up Amber. And Amber is a much better match for me, and it actually blends into my skin. But just to be on the safe side, I also picked up the shade number 13 Chestnut, which is a darker shade completely, as you can see, just in case I needed to blend them. So I'll show you the three shades on my cheek. So this is the 0910, this is the Amber, which actually blends in really nicely. I'll show you. And then this one is the Chestnut, in case I need to mix everybody together. And if I mix it just right, I can use all three. See? It works. So we're gonna just mix it up. I'm gonna use mostly the Amber shade though. I swear these dogs will not let me be great. They're over there barking, they better not. So I'm using mostly the Amber shade and then a little touch of the Chestnut to darken it a little bit. And I'm just gonna buff that all over my skin. And the foundation moves pretty nicely, especially since I have primer on. And the primer is more of a slip primer. It does give the skin a nice slippery base, so it's not tacky at all. And the foundation moves pretty well. And it's a thicker formula. It's not one of those liquidy formulas at all. It's definitely a more thick, creamy formula of liquid foundation. It's not even that liquidy. It comes out like a cream. And I don't mind that as long as it doesn't feel heavy, and it says it's lightweight, which is tricky to do when it's such a thick formula. Does it really feel lightweight? And I wouldn't say Feeling it now. I'm used to foundation on my skin, so obviously I don't feel it as much as somebody who's not used to foundation. Now, as you can see, it blended in pretty nicely. And it's not really detectable on my skin. Like, it doesn't show that I really have foundation on. I mean, obviously I have foundation on, but it's not really evident. And it did cover without being crazy heavy. And that's a pretty good, let's zoom in so you can see. It's a pretty nice finish. I'm obviously gonna need to powder because it's a little bit shiny, but I like the finish. What do you guys think? Let me know. All right, let's go ahead and finish up the eyes. What I'm gonna do actually is grab this mauvey brown shade in the middle here. This is the shade I544, and it's like a pinky brown shade, and it has a hint of purple to it. So I'm just gonna grab that shade on a IT Cosmetics number 112 Precision Shadow Brush, and I'm just gonna barely buff it in the crease area. I don't know, I'm just checking to see if this works. I'm just trying to pull that color into my crease and upwards on my brow bone without having to pull that dark purple up. But I want to tie it in with my skin tone so it doesn't look like a harsh line right there headed upwards to my brow bone. You know what I mean? I want to tie everything together. Oh, that actually works. I gotta grab a little bit of the purple and add it to this outer lid area because it looks like it's not dark enough out there compared to this one. So okay, did that, and now just clean off the excess and buff that out. Did that work? Did I just do the most and messed it up? Oh yeah, I did. Clean brush, erase that as best as we can. Okay, now I'm gonna grab the highlight shade from the palette. This guy here is the I528, and it's a very light shimmery shade. So I'm gonna grab very little of it, very little, on the very tip of my MAC 252 flat shader brush, and apply it just to the high point of my arch. So I'm not applying it all over my brow bone, just at that high point. I'm telling you, that dog is not letting me be great, just barking up a storm. So buff that out so it looks not so harsh, and it highlights just that point under the brow. Yeah, I think that works. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set my skin. I'm gonna grab my loose powder from NARS. This is the shade Mountain, and I'm just gonna pounce that over my skin using my Tarte powder player brush. And this is a lighter powder than my skin tone, so I like to use this whenever my foundation may be a little bit too light, so it doesn't darken up the foundation at all. Because the Milani powder that I got is actually a very dark looking powder, so I'm not going to use that to set my skin. And this is the one I got. I got Dark Tan, which is the Multitasker face powder. You can use it for setting, finishing, and blotting. Looks like this. It actually looks like it wouldn't be dark, but I set my foundation. I tried to set my foundation with it one day, and it was just like, whoa, what happened here? It was so dark. I applied it to my skin and it looked extremely dark. So I'm not using that to set my whole skin at all. But what we can use it to do is do a little dimension play up on our skin. So I'm going to use it on this Hakuhodo B531 brush. I'm just going to use it as like a bronzer contour shade. It's not really going to be a contour shade because it is a skin tone warm color, but it can be used as a bronzer. So I'm going to warm up my hairline with it, with this brush. And I don't like to use ultra dark colors to bronze up my skin because I'm dark already. And even on lighter skin, I don't like to see that mess. When they use an extra dark color and then it looks so unnatural because your skin does have dimension. And you add a darker powder or darker cream product to add that dimension and play it up after you removed it with foundation. Because foundation kind of gives you a blank canvas, right? So you're adding back the dimension to your skin using these different darker powders, and using a seriously dark powder looks so unnatural, and it's just very obvious what you're doing. And this powder, look, it looks like my skin tone, right? It's just slightly darker, and I'm using, this is a Tom Ford number 11 brush. I'm just using a like a shader brush, a large shader brush. And just because I'm using it in a concentrated way, so this is going to deposit a lot more pigment because it's small, it's gonna concentrate that color a little bit more. So you see I'm adding color and shading, and the powder itself actually looks one shade off from my actual complexion. So you don't have to go with these dark powders. If you want to do really natural contouring and really natural shading on your skin, use colors that are very close to your skin tone. If you want it to look like something that would naturally happen. And that's the intention, right? You want to enhance your features, probably modify them just a touch. Like my nose right now, I'm modifying it a bit so it looks like I have a different shape to my nose. I don't need to add a powder that's really dark. I just need something that's very subtle and it will look more natural. So when you go out in public, it won't look like, oh my god, look at this girl, really I try hard for contour our face and it not look ready for prime time. And I like to go over it with my powder brush just to soften it a bit. And I don't do the bright under eyes either. I just don't like how that looks. It looks very unnatural to me. It looks, and you know what? I feel like a lot of us these days feel like we have to do the most when applying makeup. I'm applying mascara. This is my Too Faced Better Than Sex. We feel like we have to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with the Instagram girls and do the most when applying makeup, and you really don't need it. They make it feel you seem like you need to do all of that all the time, every day. If you use a medium coverage foundation, a light to medium coverage foundation, you will still have dimension to your skin. It's not going to cover up everything and wash everything out. If you use a heavier coverage, like a full coverage foundation, or you really build up your medium coverage foundation, then you can really wash yourself out and lose those subtle contour and shade into your skin. But every day I don't wear full coverage. I don't even like full coverage except for special occasions when I really want to look flawless. And that's when I use my Marc Jacobs full coverage foundation. And it's so lightweight that it doesn't even feel heavy on the skin. But in that case, I will do a little bit more highlighting and contouring and pay a little bit more attention to that. But every day, I literally slap on foundation and I go. I barely even put on blush, much less. I fill in my brows, put on mascara, and put on foundation, and I'm out the door. And I remember I used to put on like full-on makeup to go to work. And you know what? I don't do that anymore. I do that like a couple of times a month when I'm filming a Get Ready With Me video, just so I can have you content for you guys. So I will wake up early and do extra just so I can film for you guys. And I'm using my Superhero mascara from IT Cosmetics. I love pairing my Too Faced with this guy because this guy just amps up the Too Faced. And the Too Faced on its own is beautiful, but when you amp it up with this IT Cosmetics one, I'm telling you, oof. And the IT Cosmetics one is blacker to me than the Too Faced one, so my lashes stand out even more, and then it adds a curl so my lashes curl even more. Now I'm going in with my MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara. And this guy just works great on my lower lashes. It just does. It's easy to maneuver because of the little brush that it has. And the formula is decent too. It's not the ultimate like volume builder, but I don't need to build that much volume on my lower lashes. Like, who am I kidding? You know what? Watch me go try. Put on the It Cosmetics one now and mash it up. Let me try. I don't need that much volume on my lower lashes. Like, my lower lashes don't need to sing to me. I just need them to show up. I don't need them to win the game. I just need them on the reserve bench. Okay. That built up the lashes definitely. That looks weird to me. Look at this. Look at this. Doesn't that look weird? Is that just me? That looks so weird to me. I don't like how that looks. And I don't know. It doesn't look nice on me. I'm just gonna use a spoolie and separate some of those. Because I don't, maybe I'm not used to it. Like, used to having my lashes doing the most. I mean, I guess it doesn't look bad, but it's not something that I would do every day. I mean, okay. I mean, I guess I like it. I guess I like it. While we're zoomed in, let's go ahead and finish up the eyes. I'm gonna go in with more of the light lavender and pull that further on the inner tear duct area and on the lower lashes. So I'm pulling it now from the inner tear duct area downwards to the lower lash line, the inner lower lash line, just to brighten up that area, because that area can get very dark for me. And I'm even gonna pull some of that light shade that we used under the brow, just a little bit of it, and put it at the very inner corner, so almost towards my nose, just to add a lot of brightness, like that. And then I'm gonna pull the dark brown color that we used all over the lid and just pull a little of that on my outer lash line area. Oh, what I'm using is my G5515 brush. This is a very small pencil brush from Hakuhodo. And I'm just gonna buff that color along my lower lashes, like that. So, while I'm doing this, I wanted you guys to go ahead and give me car chat topics. Now, I've noticed a lot of people are doing story time videos, and I hate story time videos. I'll tell you why I hate them. They seem so, like, extra. Like, people are doing the most to do these story time videos. And I know they're doing it for the views, and then they add these titles that's just like, you are so extra. And I don't like to watch videos where people are just being extra, because it feels so unnatural and fake to me. So I won't do story time videos, but I feel like my car chat videos are my story time videos, you know, or my version of it. I'm not telling you a story, but I'm talking to you about a topic, just removing any gunk from my inner tear duct. But I feel like I'm talking to you guys, I'm more relatable to you guys when I do that, but I'm not like being fake and doing the most to get views. Like, oh, storytime video, I almost died. Storytime video, I was kidnapped. Storytime video, he killed me. And it's like, but why are you doing that? I'm using my Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner. It's just a matte black, but like, storytime video, oh my god, why we're no longer friends. He cheated on me. I was the side chick. I met the main chick. And it's like, what? And you hear the story that you're like, why are we here? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? And I get it. People like drama. That's why the Real Housewives shows are so popular. People like drama and people like being a people business and know the things and stuff, but it's not my thing. So let me know car chat specific topics that you want to talk about. And I'll say it again, I'll say this again, I don't want to do car chats where the topic's too deep. So don't make it political or anything too deep, because I want it to still be lighthearted and enjoyable. I don't want it to be like, you know, a big to-do. I just want it to be something enjoyable that we can all just sit back and have a quick chat about, right? So yeah, please let me know topics for car chats. All right, for my blush, I'm gonna do one of the Estee Edit blushes. This is the shade Ember Glow, which is a very natural, like mauve tone brown shade, because I don't want to do the most when it comes to blush. This is a Morphe E3 brush. The I need to do a Morphe brush review video, but I don't even want to like, I don't even want to be bothered. The E brushes, the Elite brushes, the synthetic brushes, I like them. I think they're decent brushes, some of them, like the face brushes specifically. The eye brushes I can do without, but the face brushes are nice and they feel very soft, so they're decent brushes to use. And I'm just blending that out on my cheek area. That looks very nice. I like that. Now let's do a highlight. I'm gonna use the Fireball highlight powder from Urban Decay. I'm just trying to use a few new products just to check them out. So I'm just gonna grab this on my MAC 131 brush just to give an all over color, diffused color rather than just a really concentrated highlight. Oh my god, that really, whoop! That really did the most. But this brush is like really good for just blending that out and making it softer. I like this brush. I might need another one. I double up on my brushes when I really like them. I double up on them. So I'm gonna go fix myself and come back and do lips. And here is a look at the eyes completely done. Alright, so I am back. I just zhuzhed up my hair and added some earrings. I really didn't do anything. I only used one of these Pro Sculpting lip colors from Makeup Forever. And I don't know which one to go with. I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna start with number 10. We'll see if I need to go anywhere else with it. So it's a twist up pencil. So I'm just gonna apply that directly to my lips. I'll tell you what, it feels very lightweight going on. It doesn't even feel like a lipstick. It almost feels like a lip balm. It's very comfortable, actually. Very lightweight. Doesn't feel dry. I'm gonna use the number 11 one and just add to it. This one is pinker, I think. I don't think it makes much of a difference. But what I really want to do, zoom in, is do that sculpty thing that they want us to do with this. So you unscrew the other end and there's a little powder on it. And this one, what color is that? Let me see the number 10 one. See what color they have on that one. Okay, that one is more of a peachy gold. So I'm gonna put this in the middle of the lips because that's where you would highlight, right? It's like a highlight powder. It doesn't really pick up too much. Oh, it does. Oh! In my mirror, it's not really showing that it's showing, but I can definitely see it in the camera. Oh. It's not like an obvious color that you're doing. It's not obvious at all. Oh, ooh. It's different. It's different. I don't think everybody needs this, but it's definitely different and it works. Like, do you see it? Let me add some more because I just went over it with the color. But it adds like a little ombre effect without being too in your face. Oh, I mean, I don't mind it. And the lip color itself is very beautiful. And the feel of it is very nice. So, did we forget anything? No, I think we're good. We're good. We're good here. So, there you go for this chit chat, talk through, get ready with me video with the Makeup Forever Volume 3 palette. Again, this is the Florals palette. We used 1, 2, 3, 4 of the shades out of this palette, and I think the other ones, these blue ones, you could definitely use in another look. Let me know if you want me to do another look with this palette, because I'll just do the blue ones and the yellow. Even incorporate the yellow, that'd be good for spring, right? But I just wanted to do this smoky look. It's really simple, really easy, but it's really sexy at the same time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. And if you do like what you see, don't forget to hit subscribe. And as usual, I'll leave a full list of the products used down below in the description box. So check there if you have any questions, as well as info on my nails. And I will leave links also to my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page where you can follow me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye, guys.